Welcome to a special presentation of the Burress Law Life and Friends podcast. And today, January 10, 2022, one day before my mom's birthday, we are here with a special guest, Kellen Lawson. Kellen, how are you doing?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. Tell us a little bit about you. Where are you going to school?
I am currently enrolled at Texas Tech University in Lubbock as a undergraduate sophomore with a major in communication studies and a possible minor in sports management coming up.
Guns up, baby. Guns up.
Wreck 'em.
Tech. That's awesome. Well, let's a little bit of a surprise here because we haven't gone through what we're doing. So let's get the surprise out of the way, and then I want to get into a little bit about your background. But one thing that the law firm has done is institute a scholarship program for students, and so we're doing six scholarships annually. And there's going to be three per semester, two $2,500 scholarships, and one $5,000 scholarship per semester. And we're doing these in honor of our grandparents. And you, sir, are our very first $5,000 recipient of our inaugural scholarships.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Thank you.
There's not. I reviewed 212 applications, and others reviewed applications, but I reviewed them all. And the way we did it was reviewed them without looking at any names, and then sort of picked the finalist. And then once we got to the finalist level, well, then of course I looked at everything from pictures to where they go to school and so forth. But that essay was unbelievable. That will come out. So I mean, I want to talk about. If it's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your. I'm not going to read your entire essay, of course, but there's a couple things that I definitely want to look at. Okay, so first, it says, when I was born, I had a stroke on the right side of my brain. I was left with cerebral palsy. I was told I would never walk or talk, but I overcame that. I've done multiple motivational speeches. It says you hunt and fish, you walk with a walker, which surpassed everyone but your mother's expectations. Tell us about that.
It's just pretty much, yes, I had a stroke and they told me and they told my mother that I would never walk or talk, and my mom is just about as stubborn as I am, maybe not quite there. And she told the doctor something along the lines of, well, I'll see you in 6 months. And so she did 9 hours a day of therapy in the floor. And then in 6 months, I was talking or doing something, and it didn't stop there. We just kept going. I've never stopped. I don't have an off switch now on my voice.
I love it. Moving down, so it says, I have worn thick skin from the start. I have always been told you want to achieve something good, go after it. No one is going to give me anything because I'm disabled. I always understood that, and I would not ask anyone to give me anything because of cerebral palsy. I am better for that. I have not always been willingly included, depending on the situation, but I hold no resentment to the people who have taken this action. I have either found a way to include myself or move on to a better opportunity. You have circumstances, and we all have circumstances, and you have significant circumstances, and that's one thing, but it's the attitude, the way in which you approach life that, to me, is so remarkable. How do you have that attitude?
It's just a lot of the way I was raised, I think. I've never had anything given to me. And, I mean, even the smallest of things. My parents have always said, we're not going to be here forever. And so you're going to have to figure out a way to do things without us. And they do nothing. I don't want to. They do nothing for me, but not in the way that not in the way that sounds. It's just part of the way that we were raised. It's that you've got to do this. You cannot sit here and feel sorry for yourself. And honestly, if I sat around, I would be, just knowing me now, because of that mentality, I would be miserable if I sat somewhere all day. Mm-hmm. Now we complained.
Yeah. No, we don't know each other. I know I met you years ago, actually at an SMU game.
Sure.
And I was blown away the first time I met you. I was tickled to death when it all came back around and you applied for the scholarship. But I remember something from back then, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have the feeling, I have the recall that you had a very special relationship with at least a grandparent, if not grandparents. Tell me about that.
Several. All of them, actually. My dad's dad was probably my biggest influencer. He went to school also at Texas Tech and passed away in 2014. And then my dad's grandfather and I became closer whenever he passed away. And he also went to school at Texas Tech. So I am the fifth generation Red Raider, because my great-grandmother's uncle went to Tech. Then he went to Tech. Then my grandfather went to Tech. Then my dad was the second one in the family that didn't go to Tech, and actually had to call Spike Dykes and tell him he wasn't coming to Tech. Wow. But I would definitely say that the grandparent influence is the reason that I chose the school I did. And they're also a big part of the reason of where I am today.
I think that at some point in our lives, most of us have an athletic, let me just say, a physical, a mental, an emotional, or a financial peak. But in time, at least one of those peaks, you will fall from it. And your essay is so powerful to me. And I guess just looking at it and knowing that like if things weren't going well in an area, you could look at that essay and get an unbelievable idea about the way in which you could carry yourself or face adversity. And one of the lines in your essay says, "How can a person with a disability expect others to be understanding of accommodations and needs if they themselves are not outspoken about the disability? You need to be your own advocate first and foremost." Talk about that.
Well, I never have understood that. And of course, it's to each their own. But if we want to, there are some people that don't feel comfortable talking about disabilities, because they feel like they'll be judged, I guess. I mean, I'm not speaking for other people. I'm making a general. And so they kind of just shy away from it. But if you want to be treated the same, you have to be willing to explain that, hey, I may do things different than you, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. And it may take me a little longer, but they're still going to get done. And nobody's going to say that for you but you. It's somebody else may say it, but it's not going to mean the same if it doesn't come from you.
My favorite part of your essay was the second to last paragraph. And this is the part why I'm going to keep this essay close to me, either in my billfold or at least within electronic retrieval, put it that way. This was really meaningful to me. I do the absolute best that I can with what I have. I won't accept any more or take any less. I would rather be honest and fail than be academically dishonest and pass. I have been raised on the philosophy, accept little but give a lot. And you talk about implementing that in your daily lifestyle and giving back. Talk to us about that.
Well, I've always believed that there are worse situations than me. I could have been worse, but I'm not. And so I do believe that it's important to help people and encourage people and be there for people. You cannot just take all your life, because eventually there's going to be nothing left to give you. And you're not going to have any room. And honestly, do you really feel, this is me, do you feel like you've accomplished anything if you hadn't given things to people, back to people that have helped you get to where you are? I wouldn't feel like I accomplished things.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd feel like that was kind of rude of me to not give back to the people that helped me get to where I am. And not only that, the people that are less fortunate. So,
I've growing up at various times, I've been around people with challenging circumstances who didn't have the type of attitude that you have. So it's not your attitude and the way you approach things. I think is the optimal way to do it. Are there tough days for you where it's hard to be as positive?
I don't, just speaking for me, I don't think so. I think when I was younger, maybe, but as I get older, I think it's kind of, those days are fewer and fewer, because I haven't become complacent, but I have accepted what I have, and CP, I don't adapt to that. That adapts to me. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. So it's a matter of acceptance, but not complacency, and there's a difference there, I think.
I love that. Looking towards the future, what sky's the limit for you?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do?
I would like to, like I said, I got a degree in communications, and I'm thinking about adding a minor in sports management. And I would like to get involved in athletics administration. So that would be like a director of operations for a football team, where I would do the administrative duties kind of in game day prep, or something like that.
And you've been around locker rooms for many years, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, I did some stuff in high school. I was the high school team equipment manager. Equipment and statistics. I kept stats on game day. I did equipment during practice. And then I was at SMU at one time, under Coach June Jones. There was a story featured on me in the local news, and Coach Jones saw that. And in that story, they asked me, they said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I gave them a similar answer. And Coach Jones saw that story, and he offered me to come coach, be an honorary coach at SMU for a day on the sidelines, and got a team hotel experience, and got the locker room experience and all that against UCF. And SMU ended up winning that day. So now there's a running joke that I'm 1-0 as a D1 head honorary coach.
I love it. Well, look, such an honor to have you as our first presidential scholarship. Let's just call it that, because I don't know what we call it, but I'm really, really honored that you're that person, and wish you ton of luck in the future. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Well, I just want to say how much I appreciate you and the opportunity and the fact that you give back. And I think it's something that I hope to do in the future as well, but it's very appreciated. And thank you. I appreciate this, really.
All right, guns up. Go get them.
Thank you, sir.